Guten Abend und herzlich willkommen to Football Armchair Experts, where we pretend to know everything, but actually we know nothing. Our experts today, very experienced in having German managers at their clubs. Liverpool fan Imran, currently managed by Jurgen Klopp. Robin Low, Chelsea fan, currently his club is being managed by Thomas Tuchel. Even my club, Fulham, have had a German manager in the Premier League before, Felix Magath. And Newcastle fan Manjun, what are you doing here? Of course, with our looking back on Matchweek 13 and looking forward to both Matchweek 14 and 15. The big news we are looking at first is Ralf Rangnick, the sixth German manager to come to the Premier League for the next 6 months until the end of the season. I guess maybe you can get first reactions in terms of asking Imran, good appointment?
Me, like most people, only knew about him after Man U was like, oh, we're going to appoint this guy. Like, you sort of had, like, hear his name once in a while, like, in the industry, like in like the football circles, but like he hasn't really been center of attention for anything, because I think before that he's always been managing like pretty small clubs. Like even Leipzig, it wasn't very big when he took over, but like it was during his reign that it became like one of the better clubs in Germany. But yeah, so it's of course after this, then people start researching, like, and then you have all the news media talking about him. That's when you start learning about his history, and I think based on that, I would think on the surface, it's a good appointment. Like what they say about him being the pioneer of the pressing style that so many German managers are adopting nowadays, like Tuchel and Klopp, and like how he has like a very distinct style of play. He wants to stamp his authority and all that sort of things. So, like on the surface, that's good, and I think that he would have been a good long-term coach. But in this case, I think it's more of a Man U problem, because what they're looking for isn't a long-term coach. You're looking for a random interim manager. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like if you're an interim manager, you can't really implement like long-term progression for your players or what, right? Like your immediate goal is to stabilize the club, is to scrape as many points as possible. If you want to consider yourself like in a crisis this season, is to like minimum get top 4. It's not to like implement any style of plays. So like for example in the Chelsea game, if you were trying to play your own way, right, you wouldn't have played like how Man U did. But for them, because they're in crisis mode, okay, no choice, defend, try to hit Chelsea on the break, which worked. So I don't see how Rangnick can work in this situation, especially because his style is supposed to be like what Liverpool and Chelsea are doing, right? Like the high pressing and all that, which means you need to have a lot of intensity, you need like fitness, you need all that, which takes time to breed into the club.
I think it's a better appointment for Rangnick than Man U, at least for now, because it does look like some kind of a commitment on Manchester United's side to play his kind of football, even offering him that 2-year consultancy stint after this interim job somehow, which kind of confuses me about who comes after him or who is willing to come and be under him, right? Because I guess their plan is for him to set the foundations of the style of football, and then the next manager has to come and continue the plan. Because otherwise, within these 2 years, Rangnick also will out, right, and disappear. Then like, what's the whole point of this whole interim phase? So it's kind of a lock-in to this like pressing style that Man U seems to be going for now, which is the current meta of football. So I think finding the next permanent manager will be very tough. It's looking very likely that Rangnick will be the guy who continues. I don't see any other manager who would want to take up that kind of role with clearly another icon like lording over you. Like it's much like a Sir Alex's shadow. If they were to find another manager like Pochettino or anything, I don't think that person is set up for success, as optimistic as the scene is right now for United. So I think the realistic step should be Rangnick all the way.
Quite interesting, because there's sort of a parallel in what he did. He was sort of appointed director of football initially, and then they wanted him to implement his style, so he stepped in as manager first for like 1.5 seasons before they waited for Julian Nagelsmann to come in. Like he was like his appointed successor in that sense. So that sort of worked because he already had someone in mind. I don't know if maybe Nagelsmann again at Man U, I don't know. For me personally, like I only remember Ralf Rangnick, like when Hoffenheim suddenly became a thing in the Bundesliga. They were leading the Bundesliga for one season, like they were winter champions in that sense, like the first half of the season.
But yeah, I think Hoffenheim, Schalke, Leipzig, and going back to what Robin was saying, that's the thing. Like I think he's the one that doesn't want to be the coach. Like I think for him, he's more interested in being in the corporate side of things, like the director and all that. I think, but maybe because I think before
He will command a lot of control, which is his style. But who wants to be under him? That's another question.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's the
he's
thing.
an icon, then I guess it might just work.
And that's the thing. If he was such an icon, like why was he never linked with like any like other clubs in any periods? Like it's always all the more like smaller clubs.
He was linked with a lot of clubs. He just didn't get the job in the end. Like Arsenal were looking for a successor to Arsene Wenger. He was linked there. Spurs also, when they were searching through all the different like Nunos and Fonsecas and all that, he was also linked there also. It's just that in the end he was never really, because he wasn't like at a Bayern Munich, so therefore he's not like the number one choice kind of thing. But I feel like, yeah, a bit of a surprise that because Man U is kind of a big club, a bit of a surprise that it was Man U in the end. I thought maybe he'll go to an Arsenal, maybe try to build them up again, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know if you can do it at Man U. I will admit though, like looking at the appointment and all that, I'm fearing that they've got it right. Because looking at, last week we were thinking about how they were going to appoint an interim manager and jokes they don't know what they're doing, all that kind of thing. A part of me is thinking like maybe they do know what they're doing. And that is a little bit scary in terms of somehow does not Man U to do well.
I think it's a good move, like the consultancy part. But I don't think that was a move that Man U actively offered him. I feel it's more
probably negotiated.
He probably is the one that said,
Yeah.
okay, I will be an interim manager on the condition that you continue hiring me. There's no point for him to leave his stable job and come and join you for like 6 months only or whatever, right? And so that's like his own, like, because Man U are in like such dumps nowadays, then it gives him like a lot of leverage to negotiate his own deal. So it's like his own way of getting his foot into the sporting director role at Man U, which and I think like people say like he likes to have a lot of control around clubs, but that's the thing, like he I think when he was a manager / coach before, right, like apparently he burned out quite fast. He was, because he had to do everything. So now he just like, okay, the coach do their stuff, he just build the foundation already, then he can focus on the actual like building of the club, which is like, if it actually succeeds at Man U, it's actually quite scary, but we shall see. Hopefully, like you guys said, maybe he's a consultant, and then you get that means that maybe you cannot get a big manager in after that. You have to get like a new up and coming manager that's willing to learn under him.
I guess we'll see if Ralf Rangnick becomes Wreck-It Ralph instead. But
Wow.
it's a while for that.
How many subscribers do we have now, actually?
No, our subscribers have never changed.
Oh,
Maybe now you need to insert like the animation there.
Sometimes you have to look
press the like
inward.
button animation.
But
Yeah,
Give us a like, a thumbs up.
it'll make us happy.
Michael Carrick has done pretty well in terms of his interim manager role. Managed a draw against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. I guess that's where we can start with our review of Matchweek 13.
So many chances. It could have been, I think, easily 3-1. Easily. Callum Hudson all the way early on. Oh, don't know what he's doing. Werner at the corner kick, he just volleyed straight wide. And of course, the last minute chance by Rudiger. Then, but I mean, of course, the tactic served one purpose, which is to just congest the central midfield all the way, right? With all his 3 scrub midfielders. Yeah, so it's just to block space, which I guess to his credit, it worked and it frustrated Chelsea. But sad to say, it's an individual error from Jorginho that costed us the points. Otherwise, I don't think it's Carrick's genius or anything. I mean, fair play to him, he dropped Ronaldo for this game. I guess that's a big call to make. And Man United defended with enough spirit, I guess, considering they have a lot of the first team out, right? No Maguire, no Shaw, of course, no Varane. Yeah, so it's a great point for United, but it's a terrible, it feels like a loss for Chelsea.
Right decision to drop Ronaldo for the game.
I would say so. I know there's a lot of controversy around it, but like, that's the thing. At the end of the day, like he's not gonna, like, you can say like he's gonna score goals, but he doesn't work as hard. So it's like the trade-off, right? And then you just think, to yourself, okay, like what are the chances of him having the ball in Chelsea's end of the pitch? Like probably freaking like 10% of the time or something. So like, is that worth the trade-off for him maybe being a bit more clinical in front of Chelsea's goal compared to you having one extra player running around and defending for the most part of the game, since that's your game plan? And I mean, even without him, they managed to score like a sort of counter-attacky or like took their chance where they had it with also like fast players. So I don't think he was missed. Like I don't think he could have changed the game. like he's just there to score goals, but if you don't give him the support, then he can't score also.
Jadon Sancho, 2 goals, 2 games already under Michael Carrick. Is it a case of like Michael Carrick getting the best out of him, or maybe perhaps change in system now, starting to see Jadon Sancho perhaps performing better?
To me, it's always about time and exposure. I mean, you can't expect to get things running. Just throw him into the rest of any system, even play him, put him on the bench, expect to like get things rolling. Yeah. So, I mean, technically, it was. I don't think any of us expect him to be a complete bust.
Okay.
We always knew that he will come to fruition somehow, someday. Just we hope it will not happen, because he will serve Man U well. Yeah, but I think it's starting to blossom. I think they got their Ronaldo successor already, right there.
I don't know. I disagree. Like I sort of feel like number one is like I think it's still too early to tell. It's 2 games, 2 goals, and like his second goal was a bit fluky. Like it's like a free shot basically. And like second reason, if he really is playing better now, I haven't watched any of the other games, but I think it's because he's getting played on the right now instead of the left.
Could it be something more of a problem with Chelsea though? Like, this is of course now back-to-back home draws.
Actually, I don't know. I always had the feeling that Chelsea's attack usually aren't very strong. Like even last season, it's more of Thomas Tuchel coming on and stabilizing the club and like getting the defense strong again. And I think that was their outstanding achievement, right? It's not their attack. It's like the fact that they don't know went for how many games without letting in a goal and all that. So at that point, they didn't need as many goals to win a game. Like it's a bit like your past Chelsea, where you can just score 1 or 2 goals and then you can defend properly. So and then this season their goal scoring record is a bit better because after Lukaku came in and then he had like a hot streak, right? So they were scoring a lot and everything. But after that, he got off injured and now like maybe a bit off form, so like not as much. So I don't think it's a very big like a drastic change from what they were already experiencing. But of course, that's a pretty good sign for the rivals, because from what I see, it's like they have a lot of scorers across the team, but don't have one like specific star striker or a star player that is like consistently producing it. Right? They always have to dig it out from like their midfield, even their defenders. I think one of the stats during the game was that they're the club with the highest scoring defenders.
I think you can talk about the Leicester game. I watched quite a bit of the Leicester game also, yeah. But second half a bit weird, because I couldn't even see the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Second half. I don't know what the fuck was happening. Yeah. I think it'd be good if James Maddison keeps Steve's up. Okay, a thing that I saw during the game, right, is that I see him running beyond Jamie Vardy, which I never seen in my whole entire life.
Okay.
Like people running beyond Jamie Vardy. So I think it adds to them. I think it's a good move by Brendan Rodgers to do that. But knowing Leicester, right, probably they will fuck it up some way. I think they'll end up losing the next game. I don't know who they're playing, and I cannot really predict them dropping points. Technically, Watford didn't play them that badly.
Okay.
I think Josh King and Emmanuel Josh King. I think Josh King and Emmanuel Dennis played quite well. I felt like the kind of formation like gameplay that Watford would have, the counter-attacking kind. Yeah, there's relying on their front three to do something.
I think maybe an interesting result is like the Aston Villa Crystal Palace one.
Okay.
Yeah, paying a lot more attention to that now that Gerrard's there. Yeah, like I don't know. I still feel like it's a bit. Don't know whether is it really his effect or is it like the new manager Valve thing. Right? It's like new manager on the like back-to-back wins against a club that's doing pretty okay this season in Crystal Palace.
I actually that was one of the games I watched, Palace against Villa. I think Palace like first 10 minutes were really, really good. Like you can see, Patrick Vieira had them drilled very well and all that. But Villa scored their first goal by Matt Target against the run of play, and that completely just threw them off. Like from then, like it was very weird. Like after that goal, right, suddenly they had a lot of misplaced passes. They like panicked a bit. So kind of surprising. I don't really know if it was a Steven Gerrard tactical change or something, or maybe the Aston Villa players felt as if like, hey, this is our lucky break. John McGinn was pressing Milivojevic quite a lot. And I think probably like because the midfield were pushing up quite a lot, Aston Villa's defense also had to be quite solid also. And I think Tyrone Mings had a pretty good game also. So I think all around the defense and midfield were pretty good for Aston Villa. So that gave them sort of a platform to be able to counter Crystal Palace quite a lot. Zaha was in and out of the game also for Palace. So it's a bit of both. Villa doing pretty well tactically and Palace not. It seemed like after that 10 minutes, they just completely lost confidence.
Arsenal did enough. Like they were in the lead, they didn't need to push, so that's fair. Aubameyang had a stupid miss, hilarious. But I thought their goals were very nice. well taken. Like Martinelli just came on and then Tomiyasu's pass. That was really good. I think the first one was Saka. Yeah, that was also a nice goal. Other than that, it's not a crazy performance, partly because Newcastle again offered nothing. It's really a lot of Saint Maximin just trying to carry the ball, but realizing that he's on his own.
I guess now it's a good transition to ask Manjun. In terms of like the games looking forward to match week 14 and 15, I guess Newcastle do have probably the most important fixtures out of everyone. These are like two back-to-back 6-pointers, so I guess you can say total 12 pointers. Newcastle are at home against Norwich and then again at home against Burnley. Surely must win games for Eddie Howe.
Oh, I think I can't really expect anything other than the win. I don't care if it's Norwich or Burnley. I don't care if they're 19 and 18. They're around us, the table. We have to get points for this game. I think a draw against Norwich would be disastrous. Like, as much as you all want the title race to be a 2 or 3 horse race, the relegation fight cannot be a 3 horse race. There's only 3 teams there, I tell you. We need confirm 8 points. I'm very scared that if we don't get points against Norwich and Burnley, then the gap between us and Leeds will just go crazy. Yeah, because now it's quite big already. I think it's like 6 or 7 points.
6.
Oh, it's 6 points. Yeah,
And you guys
so
only
even
have
if
6
we win
points.
both games, we're not out of the bottom 3 even if we win both games.
Okay, basically, I mean, this is a tough question for you to hear and answer also, but say you don't win either game, is it already over?
I think we still can draw, but I don't think we can afford to lose. I don't think we can afford to give Burnley or Norwich extra 3 points over us. I think we cannot allow that. Yeah.
Norwich and Burnley are both unbeaten in 3. This is both of their richest form of the season. if you want to put it that way, this is a bad time for Newcastle to be facing them.
I think Eddie Howe could use a challenge.
I think if they get 4 points, they'll be very happy already. If they get 3 points or 2 points, it's still okay. Even 2 points is like, at least you're still hanging on. Maybe buy a bit more time for Eddie Howe to implement like whatever he wants to play instead of playing the old style. Which, I mean, he won't have a choice now, right? If he's been there how long? 2 weeks only.
Should we go into predictions for this? Why not? Let's start with Manjun. Newcastle Norwich and Newcastle Burnley.
Oh, both games.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going for a win against Norwich.
Okay.
I'm going for the 2-1 win against Norwich. Burnley, if I don't recall wrongly, I think we have a sort of a good record against Burnley. Normally we do. I have no idea. I just pulling that shit out of my head.
Okay.
Yeah. Why not? I'm going for two back-to-back 2-1 wins.
Okay, I mean, if you don't support your own team, then what's the point? Yeah. Okay, since you're so confident about that, and I was looking at the FPL also, if it was any other team, right, facing Norwich and Burnley at home, right, you will want to put one of their players in your FPL team. But I was looking at Newcastle's team, and I don't think I want to put anybody in my team. But if you want to put someone in Newcastle in your team, who will you go for?
Put Jolinton lah.
Really?
Jolinton.
Revival.
Okay.
I don't know why Callum Wilson and ASM don't seem like they'll be doing anything soon.
Okay, I'll give them a win against Norwich, 1-0.
Okay.
But Burnley will be boring, 0-0.
Wow, that's 4 points from 6, not too bad.
I'm very tempted to go 2 draws.
Yeah, you cannot draw. It's like dragging each other to hell.
Yeah. Our next 2 home games, Norwich and Burnley, if we cannot get points out of this, who are our next 2 home games after that? Man U, Man City.
Never mind, Man U. To be honest, these 2 games may be quite high scoring and exciting if both sides are going for it. Because I wouldn't think Norwich and Burnley will settle for a draw.
You're right.
They will look at
Also.
Newcastle as a must win also.
Yeah, they look down the table, who else can they play? Only Newcastle below.
Yeah.
So it's gonna I think Norwich will win. Oh shit, fuck. I think Norwich Revival is quite exciting. A 2-2 draw. With Burnley, it'll be a more boring 1-1 draw.
Wow, draws in both games. Okay.
Two draws.
So I guess Newcastle
Unfortunately.
hanging on, but not quite gone. In terms of Norwich, I think this will be the game that's a bit more, like you said, high scoring. Norwich defensively aren't that good, so they have to go for it also. I think Newcastle will win though with the home support and all that. Will be our first win of the season. Newcastle will win 2-1. But I think they'll lose to Burnley 2-1. I think it's the kind of game that... But there's a reason why Burnley have been annoyingly in the Premier League for so long, because they win these kind of stupid games. Yeah, it will probably be like Maxwell Cornet with like one of his volleys, and then
Oh,
Ben Mee scoring a header or something like that. Yeah, but I think it will be a 2-1 win for Burnley here. So 1 win, 1 loss. But I guess in terms of teams you might want to highlight for these 2 upcoming match weeks, maybe you go to Robin.
A biasness is I want to see Conte, so I'll guess
Okay.
Spurs. Yeah,
Spurs at home against Brentford, then again at home against Norwich.
Brentford could do what they did against Arsenal. Against Norwich, fully expect them to win.
it's true. Yeah, they got the 5th best home form in the league. Yeah.
Surprising.
So against Brentford and Norwich, I think expect full points lah for this.
Okay.
Maybe against Brentford, maybe a more high scoring, maybe 3-2 Spurs. So where the 3 goals will come from, they score so few goals this season. Against Norwich, I expect a routine win lah, maybe 2-0.
Yeah, I don't think they're still that steady yet. I think they've been dropping points to smaller teams. That's why their manager got fired. I think against Brentford, who are maybe around Leeds level, doing slightly better. I think they may actually drop points here. I think it'll be 1-1. But against Norwich, it should be they should get the win. But I think maybe not very convincingly, 2-1.
Robin, I saw that you now no longer have Son as your captain on FPL.
That's right.
Will you captain him again, expecting goals to come?
Not against Brentford, I think. I think Brentford will put up a stronger fight. They've been quite resilient. So I think 1-1 for that game. But Norwich, I expect like Kane or Son to take advantage of their weak defense and go get a 3-0 for Spurs.
Yeah, I think for me it'll be Spurs back-to-back wins though. I think this will be a game. Brentford are quite open at the back still, even though they kept a clean sheet against Everton. I'm going to go Spurs to win 2-1 against Brentford. I'll match Robin's 3-0 against Norwich.
I mean, based on form, it probably will be Everton lah.
Okay.
I still don't expect to get any points out of the next 2 games. But I think they should be fighting for some points. I know they're being dragged right into the relegation fight lah. Yeah, I don't think this is their aim.
Is it fair that Rafa is now under so much pressure, even though there's so much injuries?
Yeah, I agree that it's unfair. It's very hard to judge. It's almost saying like Klopp was a flop last season, right? With his crazy injuries. Yeah, so I think it's super unfair, especially consider Everton's paper-thin squad. It's just super unlucky at that. It doesn't mean Benitez is a bad coach, but I don't see them winning or getting results in these 2 games. Sadly, their form book is looking terrible. Yeah, I'll go with back-to-back losses.
Okay.
So Liverpool to win 3-0, Arsenal to win 1-0.
Yeah, I think go for 3-0 against Liverpool and 2-0 against Arsenal.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, both losses. Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to predict Everton not even to score. I'm going to go Liverpool to win 2-0.
Yeah. There's no goal scorer now, man.
Yeah, Everton, Arsenal, I'm going to back Everton to get a point, but also not to score 0-0. I guess we can ask Indran, how many will Liverpool get against Everton?
Okay, I don't know. I feel like maybe Everton will be a bit more up for the fight just because it's a derby. Maybe more conservative 2-0. I need to give Everton a bit of hope. Maybe 1-1.
Not too sure if Ralf Rangnick will be in charge, yet it might still be Michael Carrick. Of course, Arsenal going into this with pretty good form. The Liverpool defeat is looking like it's the anomaly.
Okay, I mean, like winning 2-0 against Newcastle is nothing like big to boast about, I guess. Like, I don't think it improves anything. And Man U still has the players to hurt you, like they demonstrated against Chelsea. So I actually see another draw coming in for Man U. 1-1.
I want Carrick to lose.
Why? He's not going to be there much longer already, but
just because of his crap post-match interview, rubbish. Lost respect for the guy. I think. Yeah, but Arsenal is even less clinical than Chelsea are. Okay, I don't care. I'll go for an Arsenal 1-0.
I never like this matchup. This Man U Arsenal matchup. It's always been one of my least favorite top games. Yeah,
the quality has dropped over the past few years. Always draw, very boring.
I mean, it's famous for the 8-2 lah. That's all I know lah.
Okay,
years ago. Yeah. But in recent memory, it's always been exciting, but then not many goals on. Always 1-0, 0-0, 1-0, 1-1. Yeah. So I'm gonna probably go for a draw. Not 0-0 lah. Sounds a bit bad. I go for a 1-1 draw.
I don't see Arsenal winning this also. I think Man U, I don't know if they will sit back quite so much, but they will definitely not want to lose this game. I'm gonna go Man U to win 2-1.
Okay, wow.
Okay. Yeah, it really hurt me to actually say that.
West Ham Chelsea looks like a potential banana skin for Chelsea.
I think West Ham have been a bit flat the last few games though. So I don't know if it's starting to be the rigors of having to play midweek all the time with their Europa League commitments also starting to catch up a little bit. The replacements haven't been that great when they've come in. Nikola Vlasic, every time he comes on, nothing. So and Mikel Antonio also having to do a lot on his own all the time. Maybe it was the snow against Man City slowing him down a little bit. I don't know.
Okay, I'll go for a draw. I'll go for a 1-1 draw against Chelsea.
Okay.
I'll go for a 0-0.
Tough game. I will go for a Chelsea win, but very narrow 1-0.
And Werner also another one. Still not good.
Yeah, the concern, yes, the biggest concern is Werner. That guy hasn't scored it forever.
Yeah, you've had quite a lot of experience in terms of strikers not coming off.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
Alvaro Morata,
The
is that the
flop.
last one?
Oh, the
Yeah,
previous slot was Alvaro.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
okay see, at least this is not as big a mistake because he's not that expensive and he still have other redeeming values like running very fast.
Yeah.
At least he can run and draw the defenders away if you're going to play in a two-person strike force.
Speaking of former Chelsea flops, right? Andriy Shevchenko is now a manager at Genoa.
Oh yeah.
Oh, then what happened to Ukraine?
No, he left Ukraine. Who knows? Maybe future
Eventually
Chelsea
Milan.
manager.
Maybe go Milan first.
Yeah, Milan.
Yeah, I think
Then
go
he
Milan
go to
first,
Chelsea and flop.
Yeah, good Chelsea and flop.
Yeah, but he good friends with Abramovich, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at some point, if he's a manager, he will come back on.
No, he can
Just
be
have to wait.
interim or caretaker.
Yeah, will be like the Avram Grant like that, like from nowhere.
Yeah,
just-
Avram
Yes.
When they fire the manager, like Man, you fire someone and you don't want to bring in, and you bring in Oli, then they can bring in Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Then you do well, then give him like 3-year contract, then fire him the next year. That's what Chelsea always does.
Yeah.
Although there was a point in time Chelsea kept bringing back Gus Hiddink as an interim manager also. I wonder if Gus Hiddink is not managing still, right?
Retired already, I think. He's never
Yeah, I don't know how old already.
I mean, the last time he was 60 plus now, so maybe 70 already or what.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Rangnick also a bit old already. That's why he didn't want to be manager, is it?
Is he? He's still like a lot of life in him.
He looks young, but I think he's
Yeah,
like,
he looks
yeah.
young lah.
he's in his 60s also.
He's 60s.
Oh.
But early 60s are like, I think 63.
We're not doing the championship update this week.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess we can do championship update. I mean,
Fulham lost.
I just realized.
well,
draw Derby or
back-to-back
something.
draws. Yeah,
Oh,
draw with
yeah.
Derby, draw with Preston. Preston with an outrageous handball goal. Wow, that one, I actually tuned in to watch that and I was like, oh, ridiculous. The assist was a handball and the guy scoring was also a handball. This is what happens when you don't have VAR.
Championship no VAR.
yeah.
Ridiculous. You're playing basketball already, this one.
Championship no VAR.
No VAR. Yeah.
Oh.
Like not worth implementing.
Yeah, I was
Hiring
waiting
extra
for the
refs.
VAR to come in right then. I realized, oh shit, there is no VAR. Then I
Oh,
was
then you
like,
say already. Then you're like,
then I was like, oh my god, that's a goal. Yeah.
is that when you realize shit, VAR better than no VAR?
No, okay lah. I mean, I haven't been burned that much by VAR to think that VAR sucks or anything. I think I'm always for VAR. So yeah, not really. But that was the moment I realized, oh shit, championship. I have to get out of it because there's no VAR. But yeah. The good thing is that the rest of the teams behind us have also dropped points, so it's still top of the table. But I think Blackburn are now third. So
Oh, Ben Brereton-Diaz. Oh my god.
yes,
The dude.
yeah. This guy who all along thought that he was English, right? Realized that he has a Chilean grandmother, declared for Chile and added his grandmother's name after his name. So now he's instead of Ben Brereton, he's now Ben Brereton-Diaz. And now he became a good striker because he's now Chilean.
Oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah. Apparently he's linked to Southampton, so who knows? Maybe in the
Oh
Premier
my
League.
god. It's so typical Southampton move. I think you buy players on championship, right? Then you expect to make a huge difference. I think it's a mistake lah. I mean,
It's worked sometimes though.
sometimes only lah. But then it's not like. I mean,
But-
you sometimes it's very very obvious and then like players can perform in championship, but then you know when they go a step up, it's too much for them. Don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
As in, I think most of the time people say it's obvious because he's strikers.
Yeah lah.
Yeah, like the ability to score goals different in the championship than the Premier League. But maybe defenders and midfielders not so bad. But that's true. I think a lot of times because a lot of the pundits like to say that, oh, when you bring in like someone from a foreign league and he flops, then it's always, oh, because he doesn't know the English league. It's very fast to say that. It's
Yeah.
because the Dutch league sucks, that kind of thing.
But that's obviously wrong, right? Like, because most of the top teams don't even have English players.
That's true.
Very little English players. Like most of the buys are like the top players are like overseas.
Although nowadays
Right.
championship also quite a lot of like foreigners also. Yeah, especially Ben Brereton-Diaz. So he basically
He foreign himself.
Yeah, I don't know whatever you call it. Yeah, foreignize himself. Hopefully, you've enjoyed our views on Ralf Rangnick at Man U. Of course, our roundup of Matchweek 13, as well as looking forward to 14 and 15 in the spirit of our German team. Dankeschön and Auf Wiedersehen. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Hi, Bob. Hi for 1st January. It's when it opens, right? 1st January or 1st December.
Yeah.
The transfer window.
First,
Yeah.
yes, first Jan.
1st January.
I mean,
Let's go.
maybe get Ryan Brewster. Then it's like
He scored again.
Oh, yeah.
He scored again. He scored in a win.